Hello and welcome back to another Andy Drinks Beer, the show where Andy drinks beer in his garage. Continuing on with our gluten-free series, our third beer on a stick, we have New Belgium's Glütiny Umlaut Pale Ale. Now, it's not gluten-free, it is gluten-removed, and we'll get into that. And we're talking about the beginning of gluten-free beers, like they're all like super expensive and they tasted like crap, but the first two that we've tried so far have been really delicious. And now you have giant brewery companies, corporations like New Belgium getting in on the act, and how can this be bad? So we're pouring here, and also it's a 6% ABV, so it's going to have some nuts on it, and a 30 IBU. So this is going to be pretty much in the veins of like an IPA, EPA, etc. So right now you're pouring, you see that beautiful golden color. Oh, you're getting a lot of hops. It's like this is gonna have some bite to it. And like, here's the whole thing. And I've sort of come around on this in the whole gluten-free thing of this beer. You don't feel like you're missing anything. Yeah, like we said, there's a little bit. You lose a little bit of the back end taste, but also it's not sitting in your stomach like a gang of bricks, like most 6% pale ales are going to be doing, right? And also judging how another man takes the edge off. Now, what does bug me about gluten-free or soy allergy or anything like that, when you go out of your way to make it about you. Now, if you have a medical issue, if you have celiacs, and you're going to be crapping your pants if you actually have some gluten, that's one thing. But when you're only doing it just to make it all about you, make it extra special for me, that's what sort of bugs me. But let's give a little sippy. Oh, so this one, it's different from the last two gluten-free beers that we tried because there's no fallout on the back end. I mean, you get full on flavor, and if you blindfolded 10 brew masters or whatever they're called, and then stole their wallets, and no, I bet you 9 out of 10, if you gave them like 4 IPAs and then threw this one in there, they won't be able to tell which one has the gluten removed. And this is from their website. Gluten-Reduced Pale Ale is brewed using an enzyme to break down the proteins that trigger a reaction from gluten-sensitive drinkers. Therefore, these beers are being referred to as gluten-removed instead of gluten-free. The beers fall within FDA guidelines of less than 20 parts per million. New Glutiny features Equinox hops and flavors of guava and papaya. So that explains a lot of why there isn't some loss on the back end, is that it instead of brewing it sans gluten, they have a reaction where it actually just sort of dissipates it throughout the entire process. And if someone really has celiac disease, maybe this isn't the beer for them. But if you're literally just going gluten-free on the beer end to maybe shed some weight, and well, for me, just feel a little bit less full, hell yeah. First criteria: crushable or a sipper. This is gonna be a sipper, as most heavier pale ales are going to be. You're not going to be sitting down and having 4 or 5 of these. It's not sessionable, as is the new turn of phrase. It's kind of a dumb phrase, but whatever. Number 2, what food to pair well with this? With the notes of a little bit of fruitiness on there, I would say, going falafel. Yeah. And sticking with the gluten-free theme, you just get some really nice toasted up falafel and maybe some tabbouleh or some baba ganoush. Yeah, as far as food and beer pairings go, like the more Middle Eastern, the more Indian, the more African type flavors that you go. I know it's a broad spectrum, but whatever. I actually do like a little bit heavier of a beer, a little bit with a little bit more body, and also a little bit more bite, because I feel like some of the flavors, it just needs a little bit of something to cut through, and yeah, bang. Compares to a movie or TV show. Let's talk about Spin City today. Spin City was a great TV show. It was about the mayor's office in New York. I mean, Barry Bostwick Barry Bostwick or Barry Bostwick was the mayor. Michael J. Fox was the deputy mayor on that show for a number of years before he had to step down from the show because his Parkinson's was getting really bad. And then Charlie Sheen came in, and the show was still pretty good. And then Charlie Sheen was replaced on his own show 2.5 Men a couple of years later. But yeah, this is like Spin City. You know that you had a replacement. You know that's slightly different and then the OG, but it's still pretty good, right? And also, what does this remind me of? This reminds me of, there was a wedding that we went to. That our friends had an open bar. It was, except it wasn't your traditional open bar. There wasn't kegs. It was all cans because it was at this really old school, like, music hall. So they didn't have kegs and everything like that. So they were just handing out cans. And it was open bar from 6 till 10, I want to say, and then the reception went on till like midday. So at about 9:54, everyone was just grabbing on cans of Fat Tire. Yeah, and that was actually the first time I really drank Fat Tire, New Belgium staple, and it was really delicious. This reminds me of that. I mean, it doesn't have quite the full bodiness of Flat Tire, but you can tell, like, this is a very well crafted New Belgium beer, and well, even the burpee, you're not really missing much. And our rating scale out of 1 to 10 Reuben Studders, 1 being Reuben Studder and 10 being the best, I'm gonna go a solid 9. A solid 9 for New Belgium's Glütiny Pale Ale, because honestly, if I just went like this, is like, this is just a regular New Belgium beer. It's delicious. It's got a lot of flavor to it. You're not going to be able to crush 5 or 6 of these, but also the fact that it's gluten removed, maybe it's going to be sitting a little bit better if you have some trouble with the beer farts. Yeah, that's how we're rolling. Smash that subscribe button. Give us a like on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. All at Andy Carlson Show. Prost.